How do we manage excitement? By not being attached to it. When we speak in a spiritual tradition, in a spiritual philosophy of not being attached to or hooked into the emotional fluctuations, it doesn't mean that we cut ourselves off from them completely. Sometimes people think that being spiritual means I don't feel anything. And you'll see people sometimes or hear people who say, oh, I'm very spiritual, I've become totally disconnected. Now in the beginning, when I first came, before I knew that much, I heard it and it didn't make a lot of sense. But I thought, okay, maybe. But then as I started having the opportunity to be in the presence of more and more enlightened masters. They were the ones who were so deeply connected, so deeply present, so much the exact antithesis of disconnection, indifference, apathy. So it's not about don't feel anything. It's about don't allow your peace, your stability, to be impacted by that. And so in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna speaks a lot about equanimity and how the yogi, the wise one, is one who is the same in pleasure, in pain, in success, in failure. And he lists lots of different opposites. Now, that doesn't obviously mean that the yogi is one who cannot tell the difference between hot and cold, who doesn't understand the difference between gain and loss or success and failure. It's not that. It's not that the yogi is dull or dumb or disconnected. In fact, the yogi is the exact opposite. The yogi is the one who's acutely aware, acutely connected, acutely able to distinguish and differentiate. But what he's getting at, what he means when he says the yogi is the same, is not that the yogi can't tell the difference, but that the yogi doesn't change. Most of us, that excitement comes out of, oh, I got something really good. I got a great present for, Christmas or Diwali or Hanukkah or whatever holiday I celebrate, or I got an A on an exam, or something wonderful happened, so I'm happy. Nothing wrong with that. Until and unless you don't plummet to the other extreme when you don't get what you wanted for Christmas or Hanukkah or Diwali. That becomes the problem. And so the yogi is one who's the same, meaning the yogi is able to be in a state of equanimity. The yogi is not one who wishes that things would be different. The yogi is not one who walks through an apple orchard wishing that the apple trees were orange trees, or walks through a rose garden wishing that the roses were sunflowers. And in the same way, the yogi is not one who walks through his or her own life wishing it to be different, wishing that this night could become day, or the day could be night, or the winter could be summer. And so when we talk about how should we manage excitement, how do we manage excitement? Well, nothing to manage. When excitement is there, allow excitement to be there. It's beautiful. Spirituality does not mean I cut off the ends of my emotional spectrum. That's what antidepressants do. They're not synonymous. I'm spiritual does not mean I've become dull. I've become cut off. I don't care. Nothing affects me. That's not spiritual. We are connected to all of creation. And so if you look at the mystics, the masters, the prophets, the sages, whatever term we use in our tradition, of all of the different religions throughout history, they are the ones who were so connected, deeply connected. From Rumi to Ramakrishna and everyone in between. They are the ones who wept tears of ecstasy and joy and love. They were not apathetic, indifferent, lumps on a log in the name of being spiritual. And that's really important because you tend to see a lot of that these days. Sort of, look how spiritual I am, nothing affects me. The guy in front of me had a heart attack at my feet, and I walked right by because I'm practicing non-attachment. And, look how spiritual I am. I was completely unaffected by the hunger of those on the street I passed by the pain, by the sorrow. Guy fell at my feet. I was able to walk by. Aren't I spiritual? This is not where we're going. It's not about that. So we manage excitement by allowing ourselves to be excited. But the question becomes, what am I getting excited about? Am I getting excited about things that, like the wave of an ocean, are going to go up and then go down? At which point my entire life is going to be nothing but positive excitement, negative excitement. Positive excitement, negative excitement. I'm going up, it's great, it's an exciting ride. I'm dropping. It's a terrifying ride. And that's how our life goes. That's the drama that so many of us are addicted to. The excitement of the spiritual path is the excitement of more and more opportunities to love, more and more opportunities to connect, more and more opportunities to be in the presence of the divine. That is exciting. Being able to see the divine in more and more of creation is exciting. Being able to spend more and more minutes of your life in service of that is exciting. Being able to love is exciting. So allow emotions to happen. That's not a problem. But just ask yourself, are my emotions being governed by the micro fluctuations of the waves of life? And if so, could I drop deeper? Because those micro fluctuations just eventually make us dizzy and seasick. The excitement is really fun for a while, and then, the downs start to really take their toll. So ask yourself, might I drop deeper? Is this the pinnacle of what I could be excited about? Or is there something else? And there's always something else. There's always a layer deeper you can go. So allow yourself to take that feeling and see whether you can drop deeper into it. So experience joy, absolutely. But just see whether you can experience it at things deeper and fuller than what you get to eat for dinner, or the party you're going to, or where you've just shopped, or who was nice to you, or what grade you got on an exam. See whether that joy can expand. and see whether it can be governed more and more internally than externally. Because otherwise we become beggars as we move through the world. If my joy is dependent on what you say or do, well, then I need you to act in a certain way so I can feel happy. Instead of that, can I start to experience it by just who I am? I have within me the capacity for joy. Take a breath. It's joyful. Allow the sun's rays to touch you. It's joyful. Look at the moon. It's joyful. Look at a flower. It's joyful. Close your eyes and look at the light inside. It's joyful. Allow that joy to blossom. Allow excitement to brew as you drop deeper and deeper into the self. That's the ecstasy of the excitement of the spiritual path. So it's not that we are on mega doses of, an antidepressant that cuts us off emotionally. No. We're fully there, the full spectrum, maybe even a wider spectrum. But it's deeply anchored, rather than sitting on the superficial surface of an ocean that just goes up and down. Because that takes us nowhere.